Well, the overwhelming consensus among scientists is that climate change is increasing the likelihood of exceptional heat waves in Britain, where people, of course, are not used to such high temperatures. And weather experts say that the heat waves are becoming more intense, more frequent, and the temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius are now far more likely in the UK. Our climate editor, Justin Rowlatt, is with me in the studio to explain more. Justin?
Thanks, Hugh. Well, first off, as much of the country endures these record temperatures, the obvious question is, why is it so hot? And that is simple. Southerly winds are bringing hot air up from Africa, which is helping drive the brutal heat waves that Spain, Portugal and France have been enduring. Now, those same southerly winds have brought that blistering heat here to the UK. What makes it worse is a weather system called a heat dome. It sits like a lid on a pot over Europe, as you can see. The sun heats the air, but it remains stuck within the dome. So look at that, it's pushed back down to the parched air, raising temperatures higher and higher.
We're not ruling out further heat waves. Continental Europe is very hot at the moment, and the Northern Hemisphere is really hot. There's heat waves in the United States, there's heat waves in China, and it's certainly looking like this summer's going to be much warmer, and we're going to see a lot less precipitation than we usually see.
How does this compare with the past? 1976 is perhaps the UK's most famous heat wave. Temperatures hit almost 36 degrees, so lower than today, but the hot weather went on for days and days. And extreme heat is getting more common. Of the top 10 hottest days since the Victorian era, when records began, 7 are in the last 20 years. And remember, this is all happening at just over 1 degree of global warming. So what about the future? Well, first off, we don't yet know what this summer still has in store for us. The Met Office says it hasn't ruled out the possibility of more heat waves this year. But climate scientists say we can certainly expect more heat waves in the years to come. Here is how hot the Earth is now, a little more than 1 degree over what it was before the industrial era began and we began burning all these fossil fuels. The pink blush there shows the hottest areas. Look particularly how the Arctic is heating up. As the ice melts, it exposes the dark sea, which then absorbs even more heat. Now this is what the world would look like at 2 degrees of warming. The Arctic is way hotter now. Look at that. At the moment, the world is on track to get a little bit hotter than this if countries stick to the commitments they've made to cutting emissions. And what happens if they don't stick to their carbon cutting promises? Well, if the world does nothing at all, the worst case scenario, this is how things would look. Temperatures are now 4 degrees above pre-industrial levels. And look how much of the whole world is now significantly hotter. And that is why cutting greenhouse gases is so important. That's how we're going to keep the number and the intensity of future heat waves to a minimum. Hugh.
Justin, many thanks again. Justin Rowlatt, our climate editor, with his analysis there.